global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you. And we're looking at Magu, that's Ibrahim Magu, the suspended EFCC boss who had to go through a very strong presidential panel. And what he has to say after his release, call it post-detention statement, whatever name you want to call it. But right now, Magu is telling Nigerians that he was shocked as he read the nonsense allegation. Those are really strong words. Nonsense allegation against him. But we're going to look at this because it's really interesting how he will call it nonsense allegation. I believe that the Presidential Probe Committee chairman is in the know that he's calling it that name, which means he's not part of whatever allegation that was brought up against him. But however, before we go into this analysis, let's look at the exact words of Ibrahim Magu. And according to him, Ibrahim Magu, suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, has described the allegation leveled against him as nonsense. Speaking with Nation hours after he was released from custody, police custody, Magu said he was shocked when he read the allegation designed to tarnish his image. He was arrested last week and whisked to a presidential villa in Abuja, where he appeared before a panel President Muhammadu Buhari set up to probe the EFCC under him. The panel is headed by, or was headed by, Ayo Salami, retired president of the appeal court. And according to the words of Magu, and I quote, he said, "They are nonsense. They are mere trump-up allegations to tarnish my image and that of EFCC. I did not steal or divert or covet funds for private use. I read the allegation and I was shocked. What I have gone through is a case of dog eat dog. But I see it as one of those risks of the job. We must not give up in any way." Magu, who vowed to fight corruption till the end, thanked those who stood by him when he was in detention. He asked Nigeria not to give up on the fight against corruption, saying, "Corruption kills a nation faster than any other thing. I thank Nigerians for their support. They should not be discouraged. I am happy to be back. I believe the war against corruption is winnable," he said. "Whether I am EFCC chairman or not, the anti-corruption war must continue." Magu's travel followed a memo by Malami accusing him of grave malfeasance. He was alleged to have mishandled the recovered loot and sold seized assets to his associates. A slew of allegations has come to the fore since his arrest. He was alleged to have purchased a property in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, using a pastor as a conduit. He was also alleged to have laundered over 500 billion naira through a bureau de change in Kaduna. Magu earlier denied allegation through the lawyer. Muhammad Umar, former director of operation at the EFCC, has taken charge of the commission in acting capacity. Just like Magu said, nonsense. He said all those things that they said against him was actually nonsense. But let's get serious about this, because it's really interesting to look at this issue. They talked about so many things against him. But the issue is, we are yet to see any evidence. For him to come out clear and call it nonsense, it calls for a retrospect. We need to go down memory lane from when he was arrested and the things that were said against him. Now, even if everything that they said against him was a lie, but what was Adams Oshimole's file doing in his house? Ordinarily, it's wrong for you to take the property as sensitive as that from your, or was he studying it, from the office, you take it to the house? They do what with it in the house. Were you studying it? Were you praying with it? I don't know. And guess what? It's really serious. What is the file of Adam Oshimole's corruption charges doing with you? And as long as Adam Oshimole was the chairman of APC, we never heard anything about it. So it's a question that I think there are a lot of things he needs to throw light on. And guess what? We've not heard anything from the Presidential Probe Committee, whether they are going to charge him to court and how true some of those allegations were. But don't also forget that according to the information we had, that from Thursday last week, where he was there, I think 10 or so, when he was in the custody of the EFCC, reports have it that he was never brought before the panel again. He said he has stayed there for I think till the day he was being released. He was never brought before the panel. And that I think on Thursday that he spent almost 12 hours waiting for them, and that was not fair. Let's be real, because he has his fundamental human right. It's not right for you to treat a man like that, you know. And he said he was just there. Just keep waiting, keep waiting. But here, the media, we heard a lot of things going on. We heard a case of that he had laundered a lot of money to the tune of 550 billion naira. Now, apart from that, they also talked about NFIU, that's the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, that they have a lot to tell about his connection with one pastor, Emmanuel, you know, of a particular ministry in Abuja, and that he was buying property in the name of that man and all of that. I believe that such issues should not just be allowed to die natural death, because guess what? A lot of Nigerians have their opinion about the case of Magu. Most people believe that releasing him is saying that the case is dead and forgotten. Others are of the opinion that now that he has been released, the case is going to be treated with so much levity, just like every other case that comes up in Nigeria, especially when it concerns some very important personality, that it's just going to fade off the minds of Nigerians. And before we know, he will walk down the street without anybody pointing fingers at him. And if you point fingers at him, he will slam you real good, because there are no proofs that all of those allegations brought against him were actually true, you know. But then we're still waiting to see what the government is going to do, because that word he used was quite, for me, it's really a serious one. You understand? It's really a serious one for him to call it nonsense. Call it his post-detention statement. All right, let's just look at what Nigerians have to say. This one said, "We were shocked too. How I am sure the president will also be shocked. Magu knew the carrot will end like the others before him. If they are seriously serious, Magu should be having a date with the judge in the courtroom." And guess what? That's true. But we're still waiting, because just yesterday was released. We are yet to hear from the Ayo Salami Presidential Probe Committee. So you can't draw conclusions right now, because I know the president is not happy. Buhari is not happy. Let's be real. If you see, he wrote a letter to the South African president telling him how corruption has taken over. You know, there are a lot of things that I don't want to say so much about it, because I believe that to some extent, most of the people that he has appointed into different positions, hearing what they have done, it blows the man. I tell you the truth. And this one says here, "See corruption personified, talking, what a shameless common thief." Well, it has not been authenticated if that is who he is, because they need to come up so that Nigerians will know whether to charge him to court or not. This one says, "Imagine Magu that couldn't defend himself convincingly, now saying this crap. Perhaps he knows they will eventually allow him go scot-free as usual of the lopsided anti-corruption fight of the government he subverted." Oh, this one says, "Laugh out loud. You aren't seen nothing just yet, man. Anyways, for CAC, okay, let me just stop there." This one says here, "Same way you're shocked your boss. In a Senate claim, you would have been shocked in prison after just a month on that seat. But of course, Nigerians will be shocked if anything happens to you by law. Enjoy yourself, sir. You are in a perfect country for your kind." Whoa, those are really, really strong words. Enjoy yourself, sir. You are in a perfect country for your kind. Well, however, let's wait to see what will happen, because the truth of the matter is, if anything happens to him, I know so well, if you take him to prison, he will open his mouth, and what will come out from his mouth, it may not be good enough for a lot of persons. Don't forget that when this allegation came up against him, and that it wasn't long also, we saw another one coming up against Malami. Malami has never been attacked by Nigerians, you understand? Malami is the Attorney General of the Federation. He has never been attacked, and we just look at him as a gentleman doing his job in all of that, practicing law. But all of a sudden, when this issue of EFCC came up, we started hearing that he has built a house for his son who just got married. The picture of his son spreading money and all of that in his wedding came up. Before we know, they said he was involved in the sale of some of the oil vessels that were seized by the federal government, which was used for oil bunkering, that he issued, he had to call for a particular company, which is currently facing, charges in the law court, to come and auction the said oil vessel. And the guy said, what have I done? What is wrong with that? And before we know, so many things came up. He came up and actually debunked those things, that they were not true. Now the question is, why are those things coming up against Malami now, when EFCC boss is under interrogation? Why didn't he come up before now? Yeah, some people say Sahara Reporter were the one that handled it and all of that, but it's a huge question to ask. Is it that they were trying to paint Salami black or something? It's something where we don't know. But however, Ibrahim Magu has spoken. He said it's nonsense, that all the allegation brought up against him. So let's wait until when the report is ready. If only it will be made public. Some believe that it has already been settled, but yet we cannot tell. Let's just put our fingers crossed, see what is going to be the case like in the nearest future when the report will be submitted to the president. That's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section. Do you think that truly those allegations against him are or not?